Australian hip-hop is only going up. The scene is thriving. Sydney's essentially becoming Australia's LA. Big ups to everyone behind the scenes at Sony and stuff. I'm assuming it was people at Sony making that happen. Every single time, my answer to that is it's both. Alright? Motherfucker, it's both. Was him being the first Australian rapper on fire in the booth. The win for any Australian hip-hop artist right now, anyone in the scene, is a win for everybody. The cultural impact that 1-4 is having on these kids, unbelievably amazing to see.
The fuck you wanna be like I am what I am, I'm just saying. Homie, this is me, if only you could see, this is who I am, man, understand. You can choose to be who the fuck you wanna be.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Got another kind of recap episode that I wanted to make today because it pretty much just hit me, like how close we're getting to the end of the year. 2019 has flown by really fast, and yeah, I was looking back on some of my content and realized I hadn't kind of done an update on, you know, the Australian hip-hop scene in like 6 months. Like my last kind of overall scene recap video was literally like 6-7 months ago. It's crazy. Yeah, today's episode, I just want to talk a little bit about and highlight some of the, really important things and achievements that I think's happened within the Australian hip-hop scene within the last 6 months, you know, coming into the end of 2019. And I really just want to make this video to, just highlight some of the amazing work that's going on in the scene, but also to fill people in. Starting off with the first thing, and the first thing that I have to kind of talk about and really highlight is obviously Western Sydney group 1-4 and the fucking crazy things that they're doing right now, and the unbelievable exposure and talk that's going on with those boys. They recently broke out this year. 2019 was an enormous year for them, and they've since just started paving the way and have carried on, you know, laying down the foundations for a very bright future. And it's very exciting to see because what they're doing for themselves and for the actual scene and for the culture. It really sparked kind of awareness with the UK scene. Two of their biggest releases this year, I'd say The Message and Spot the Difference, which were a couple months back, I think earlier on in the year. And since those two releases, like the buzz behind them just skyrocketed. It was pretty insane to see and to kind of be watching what's been going on. And look, they've just been doing some really amazing things. They've obviously just recently announced their national tour, which they're about to go on. Super exciting. Already some of the shows have sold out, and you know, I'm assuming most of the shows will sell out. Obviously, they've had a recent collaboration with a UK group as well. Don't know their actual name, but that was an awesome collab to see. Not only like their achievements and kind of the numbers and the exposure that they're getting, but one of the biggest things that, you know, that I'm seeing is the cultural impact that they're having on the youth in Australia, specifically the Islander Australians. The cultural impact that 1-4 is having on these kids and just anyone in general of Islander descent in Australia is just unbelievably amazing to see. And like a lot of people in the scene have been saying, some of these people, you know, someone to look up to. And yeah, it's just really amazing to see, and they're really making a big movement with it all. On top of that, with that cultural movement with the kids, we're starting to see these collaborations that I was talking about in Australia, where Australians start connecting with one another. And what I mean by that is, you know, recently a few UFC stars have been supporting 1-4. I know Ty, don't remember his last name, was, and someone else was bumping their shit on the UFC vlogs, came out as their entrance songs. So just seeing shit like this is really amazing to see. Very excited for what 1-4 are going to be doing next year. Big ups to them and their entire team. They've got an amazing team behind them, and they're going to be definitely at the forefront of it next year. So very exciting, and big ups to them. On top of that, we also have HP, Melbourne group. Those boys, Islander boys, they're doing some amazing shit as well. They're actually on their tour right now. I'm pretty sure one of their first shows is tonight or tomorrow. They're doing an NZ tour right now, and I'm pretty sure it's completely sold out. So just, once again, unbelievable numbers. Like the numbers these guys are doing right now and the cultural impact that they're having is really beautiful to see. So big ups to HP boys. They're doing some really big things. Now I've obviously got to go and recap on what Chillnut's been up to. You know, this is without a doubt one of the most notable artists in Australian hip-hop right now. One of the most notable things that just recently happened with Chill was him being the first Australian rapper on fire in the booth. Fucking crazy. Like when I saw that, man, I was so happy and felt proud, as I think everyone in the scene should be feeling. Win for any Australian hip-hop artist right now, anyone in the scene, is a win for everybody. So that was enormous to see. That was huge. Big ups to everyone behind the scenes who set that up as well and made that happen. Chill just, recently got awarded his gold plaque for his single Wish You Well Part 2. Huge fucking achievement. Just watched a video of like a vlog. It was the JD Sports opening in Hurstville, I think it is in Sydney, which was Chillin' its hometown. Chillin' did a meet and greet and performance there. Now, it was crazy because there was a lot of numbers there. That was pretty awesome to see, but it was more so this level of celebrity status is really starting to kind of feed into the culture. And this is, I've been talking a lot about this. This is one of the things that I've been predicting since day one, and that is Australian culture kind of reaching that level where hip-hop artists specifically can get to that status of celebrity status essentially within our country. And to see that was crazy, man. Like people, freaking out when Chillnit's walking past them, saying what's up. That was a real eye-opener and kind of a testament to where everything's going right now. Now, obviously, I have to talk about and highlight what we're doing right now in our project One Song, One Dream, and what Jaycee and Just Play Media are about to achieve with this pretty much world record breaking achievement. Coming into week 22 of 26 straight back-to-back consecutive new single releases, all produced, mixed, mastered, written, engineered by Jaycee, with a new music video, directed, filmed, and edited by Andrew, Just Play Media. Just fucking insane, man. I'm so proud of us as a team, and I'm very proud of the boys on both of their aspects, and just the work ethic that they've been putting in. And not only the work ethic and consistency, but just the quality on top of that. I always hear a lot of people when they first hear about One Song, One Dream, they're like, oh yeah, it's quality over quantity. Every single time my answer to that is it's both. All right, motherfucker, it's both. It's quality and quantity. So yeah, just super proud of the boys. This is monumental. We're still yet to find any artist who has done that. Coming into the final weeks of finishing it. A lot of hard work, but man, it's been a ride and a half. So yeah, super dope. Some cool news, obviously. Just saw recently that the Kid Laroi is going to be touring with Juice WRLD for his Australian tour. I think it's like a 3-4 show tour in a couple weeks as well. So yeah, that's cool to see Kid Laroi coming back down under, and it's cool to see him opening up for obviously Juice WRLD. Seeing as that's kind of now Kid Laroi's management team or whatever, there's some sort of ties with that, how that deal was initially made. Those of you who have seen my previous videos, I talked a lot about the record deal with the Kid Laroi, and I'm not going to kind of go deep into that because obviously it's a big subject, but yeah, it's been interesting to see what's been happening on his end of things. He's obviously just been, in the studio a lot, traveling around the US, meeting a lot of people, and a lot of, clout marketing going on. You see him taking photos with Post Malone and Drake and stuff like that. So look, at the end of the day, I just hope that they're really looking out for Kid Laroi. They're really molding him to be a better human as well as an artist, and that the people that are surrounding the people that he's surrounding himself around, really positive, switched on people. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they, what their marketing strategy is and how they roll out, album EP release next year. So yeah, cool to be seeing that. Another very amazing achievement that just recently happened that I was super happy to see and was fucking dope in general. And that was Hooligan Hefs and Nerve on the H remix, which was fucking dope, man. H obviously being one of the youngest upcoming fucking rappers out of the UK right now, just doing huge things. Pretty sure I just saw him he's on a track on Stormzy's new album, which is crazy as well. But that collab was fucking really dope to see. Was really happy for both those guys. So big ups to everyone behind the scenes at Sony and stuff. I'm assuming it was people at Sony making that happen. Yeah, really cool to see these collabs start picking up. Like I said, all the things that are coming into fruition now. The international collabs are starting to pick up. The collabs between Australian artists are starting to pick up. It's just, it's really beautiful to see. Taking a step back from all the artistry and kind of jumping into more behind the scenes, I wanted to talk a little bit about Spotify now. Just read a recent article, I think it was on the Industry Observer, and it was a beautiful write-up, and it was essentially just a giant interview with our main editors at Spotify AUNZ. It was just a really dope interview and a really good write-up. Some of the things that I kind of got out of it was, I loved the authenticity and the truth and the passion that all the editors were talking about, and just their excitement for Australian music. And when you read people at that level in their role, talking about the passion behind the Australian scene right now. Yeah, it's really motivating and inspiring to kind of see that. So that was really cool. Them openly, kind of agreeing that hip hop is the main genre right now, and that their biggest focus is essentially hip hop in Australia and building the community, and really engaging the fans with new playlists. And obviously we're seeing a lot of playlists coming out, building a lot of following, like Local Fire, A1 Hip Hop, Beats and Bars, and a lot of other ones. So it's really amazing to see them pushing that and communicating with a lot of artists. On top of those playlistings and stuff like that, they just recently had an A1 live show in Sydney Metros. Now the lineup, I can't remember everyone. It was Manu Crooks was on there, Kwame, Sophie Grophy, Triple One, and Hooligan Hefs. I think that was everyone. I apologize if I missed someone out. That's just from memory. Fucking stacked lineup, super dope, and it looked like a packed crowd. So I think that was one of their first A1 live shows. I could be wrong. Either way, it was obviously one of their most important ones to date. And yeah, really, really beautiful to see them being able to pull these types of shows off now and correlating playlists with live shows. So it's very, very exciting to see. Yeah, another cool thing that I got out of that was Peter Stevens from Spotify was talking a lot about how they're obviously focusing within the internal structure of Australian music and playlistings and stuff, but they're still also communicating to worldwide kind of Spotify editors, really communicating that bridge across, plugging who's the upcoming artists and trying to focus to get certain artists on international playlists. Look, in general, it's just amazing to see them showing the support and putting in the work to, really pushing Australian hip-hop right now. So big ups to everyone at Spotify. Obviously also want to give a big shout out to Apple Music and the people out there. They've been putting in a lot of work and doing some really awesome stuff behind the scenes. And once again, similar to Spotify, really focusing on the Australian hip-hop scene and trying to, dive into the culture and support it and build it and grow it. It's been really awesome to see them doing that. Obviously, like I spoke about in the previous recap episode, was them, bringing in the New Australia Apple Music official playlist. Obviously them bringing in Briggs on radio with the BBC Radio with his own show. That's been really cool to see, which I actually just saw that Briggs announced that there's an interview coming out with him and How. So that's going to be fucking super dope. I cannot wait to listen to that and see what those boys chat about. Really hope it's a long interview. They've been doing a lot of stuff, and those are only a few things. They've been doing a lot of shit behind the scenes. Like I said before, there's a few people behind the scenes at Apple Music setting up a lot of things for a lot of artists right now. So that's been really amazing to see. One thing I am very curious about and kind of want to put on paper right now is a prediction, and I did actually mention it to two of the heads at Apple Music at WhamCon. If they're thinking about bringing a live segment to Briggs's show, I can only see them doing that. It only makes sense that they're going to do that. Obviously we're seeing Triple J with Bars of Steel and just pumping content out, which has really, really been dope to see. So big ups on their end for doing that. But I definitely think having more pieces of content like this just adds so much value to the scene. So I'm only praying that they they're in the middle of planning that and bringing that onto Briggs's show, similar to things like Fire in the Booth. It would only add so much value to the scene. Yeah, big ups to Apple Music. Yeah, WhamCon just recently happened in Perth, Western Australia. Obviously a Western Australian music conference, which is essentially WA's Big Sound. Really, really exciting to see them, come back once again this year, pulling off an even better year with even more value and just putting in the work. And I personally got so much value out of this year's WhamCon. Got to meet some incredible people that I, wouldn't have the chance to. It's really, really exciting to see the scene kind of growing. And one thing I really, really loved to see was a lot of people from the East Coast and internationally coming to Perth and actually being generally curious and excited to know what's going on in Perth, because it's so secluded and not a lot of people actually know what's happening. So to have an event and to have a platform and a place for people to meet and kind of chat about things, but also bring value to a lot of the artists and kind of people working in the industry in Perth, it's just really amazing. And like I said, I got amazing connections from this year's WhamCon, so big ups to them on that. Another cool thing that I've been seeing, which is really, really dope, and once again just showing the movement right now and the culture building, and that's JD Sports sponsoring a lot of hip-hop artists. I've seen them fucking sponsoring so many people, whether that's 1-4, Hooligan Hefs, Nerve, Chillin' It, etc., etc. They're obviously really engaging with the scene right now, and they know that that's where the attention is. Wherever there's attention and wherever there's money, everyone's going to kind of flock towards it, and it's just amazing to see that kind of mentality is now being focused on the Australian hip-hop scene. So to see JD Sports coming in and supporting and really pushing their brand through the Australian hip-hop scene, bringing that double value on both sides is Really exciting to see. On top of that, Complex AU has been making a lot more content, interviewing a lot of hip-hop artists, and yeah, you can see them really kind of stepping their game up now. I can only hope that they just keep pumping out more and more content and start doing some more, you know, pieces and documentaries and shit like that. It's just, yeah, it's really cool to see them pushing out a lot of content. Another amazing thing that I just saw was a new kind of live segment called 16 Bars, AUNZ. Similar to Bars of Steel, just a live piece of content, giving Australian hip-hop artists a platform to fucking spit on. And yeah, this one looks really dope. From what I've gathered in a article that I read, this was already a brand idea that has already been done in somewhere in the southeast. I think it might have been Malaysia or Singapore or something, and this was already a platform happening over there with, you know, rappers or whatnot, and somehow through some connections or whatnot, they've decided to bring it over and make it an Australian one. That's just super dope. They've already announced everyone on there. I can't remember everyone off the top of my head, but you know, we're seeing artists like Nerve, Esso from Bliss and Esso, B-Wise, Wombat was on there, and a lot more other artists. So more content, man. Like, the more content that is being created right now in the scene is just of so much value, and is going to keep pushing this and you know, really building this momentum right now. So it's amazing to see that. Big ups to whoever was behind that and the people involved making 16 Bars happen. I'm very excited to see that. I think it drops. The first episode drops tomorrow. I mean, it might even be today. I don't know. I have to see. In other news, I kind of want to jump into the sporting scene now, actually. The NBL literally just broke their record attendance 2 games ago in Sydney, which was over 17,000 in attendance. This is just huge in general, you know. Obviously, this isn't hip-hop specifically, but basketball is, you know, so correlated to the hip-hop and music and right now in the culture. So it's amazing to see. They're putting in the fucking work, man. The NBL's really picking up this year, and yeah, this is just another benefit to the Australian culture, and it coincides with the music scene 100%. Jaycee, obviously, you know, having his song playing over their commercial, and we just announced today that Jaycee's going to be performing halftime at a game in Melbourne this Saturday. So it definitely correlates with hip-hop and just the scene in general. So to see them building and to see Australians supporting Australian basketball is really awesome to see. Those are some of the achievements and highlights that I can just kind of think of that's recently happened. There's so much going on. So much has happened in such a short amount of time. And I just, gotta keep on fucking saying it, man. Australian hip-hop is on the verge of just fucking globally breaking out, the culture picking up. And, you know, I've actually been talking to a lot of people about this, and you know, it really seems like where this is all heading, and it seems like it's being manually manifested, is like Sydney's essentially becoming Australia's LA. And I definitely think there are people that are making that actually happen, and that's kind of the move. Naturally, it's organically happening anyway. Like, obviously, you have Melbourne or Sydney, and Sydney just seems to be the more LA vibe right now anyway. But yeah, they're really kind of pushing that, and that patriotism, a lot of the artists and a lot of the creatives are really kind of building. Whether they're doing that intentionally or unintentionally, it's irrelevant. It is building this huge culture within Sydney, Australia, and Sydney is really becoming the LA right now. Really cool to see. That's amazing. That's, you know, this is an amazing thing to see. This is once again a benefit for the Australian scene and a benefit for everybody. A big portion of the biggest artists coming out right now are all repping Sydney. Obviously, Chillin' Up being from Sydney, Minor Crooks being from Sydney, Kid Leroy being from Sydney, 1-4 being from Western Sydney. It's really cool to kind of see that movement. We've obviously got a long way to go, but this is just another stepping stone to getting to that and really building that national exposure. It's exciting times, but I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody in Australia, every creative in Australia right now, putting in the work and just making their shit happen. Because everyone who's making their shit happen is making Australia happen and making the Australian scene happen and making the culture happen. And everybody's adding value right now. So I want to give a huge shout out to anyone and everyone who is pushing for their creativity and pushing for whatever it is that they're doing right now in the scene, whether that be media, whether that be photography, whether that be podcasts, whether that be content, whether that be artists. You know, it's just everyone, every single person. Just want to give a massive shout out, because all of us collectively right now are adding to the bigger picture. And also, on saying that, I just want to actually give a huge shout out to the Den of Truth. Big love to Tino, man, who runs the podcast. Like, yeah, if you guys don't know about Den of Truth, go check him out. I found Den of Truth when he released a podcast with Zig, And, you know, that was the first time that I was like, fuck, man, like, someone's made a podcast with Zig. Like, this is the type of shit I've been looking for. You know, trying to find content and interviews and shit, just info on the creatives and the people behind the scenes in Australia right now. I saw that, and since then, Tino has just been putting in the work and consistently been dropping podcasts with very important people in the industry. I'm actually going to drop his podcasts in the description below for people. You have to go check it out. There's a lot of amazing pieces of content, a lot of amazing podcasts on his channel right now. I am sure there is 10,000 other things going on right now, and if something or someone didn't make the cut in this video, that means nothing. Like I said, this was all just off the top of my head. I'm just rambling. I'm just trying to, you know, shed light to some of the amazing things that are going on, but there are so many more people who didn't get a credit that are putting in so much work. There are so many other exciting achievements that have been happening. So just big love to everyone who is doing that shit. It's just exciting times, man. Putting it out on paper, man. Australian hip hop is only going up. The scene is thriving. It's at its peak. It's at its highest. Everything's at the highest it's ever been. It's just a matter of time, you know. It still might take a couple of years, but we're gonna start seeing it. Predictions for 2020 are some of these big artists, like I said, 1-4, Chillin', and even some of the upcoming artists really start to do some big numbers, really start to break out globally and internationally, and doing numbers that we haven't really seen before from previous Australian hip-hop artists. That's going to be one of the key things here. We're already starting to see some ridiculous numbers from upcoming artists, you know, with the playlistings and just promos. We're going to start seeing some huge collabs. 2020, I'm predicting just huge international collabs with Australian hip-hop artists, which is just going to open the doors even more. You know, there's going to be 1,000 things that happen, which is what's going to keep pushing the Australian hip-hop scene. Just these thousands of different things that add to the bubble. Probably do another update, you know, at the start of next year, and we'll see what's happening. It's fucking amazing. I'm so grateful to be a part of this, and big love to everyone, like I said, putting in the work. I'm also actually going to link NGK's personal playlists of Australian hits right now. If you want to kind of get an idea of what I'm seeing and what I'm listening to right now, because I listen to a lot of Australian shit. And then actually, no, going off that, this is actually something that I forgot to talk about. You know, over the last few months, I've just, you know, I found this exposure gap and this awareness gap, because I've been speaking to so many people, friends, co-workers, etc. And I've just been plugging Australian hip-hop artists to them, and no one knows anyone. And as soon as I show them, they go, what the fuck? Like, oh, these people are dope, man. You sure they're Australian? There's just no awareness. People don't know that there are Australian artists making amazing music. And this is the issue here. And this is the cultural gap that's happening. So it's just, we need to bridge that gap. So it takes everyone to keep pushing it and promoting it. Every single time I'm talking to someone, I'm plugging Australian artists. So that's why I'm going to make a playlist of my favorite hits that are coming out of Australia right now, and what I'm fucking listening to on my personal playlists. It's a long episode, but yeah, I just wanted to really recap on everything. There's been so much happening, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope that brought value. Let me know, and yeah, I'll see you guys on the next episode. NGK out.
Monday come around, she on a calm now, but she told me she never popped a pill. I should never trust her. The fuck is she?